rescuing of records after flood disaster. Files cleaning. Firstly, the affected files must be removed from the disaster area. Place the files in a suitable plastic container that's been layered with plastic perspex. Perform the cleaning steps to remove foreign material adhering to the files like mud, dirt, sand, wooden sticks, and other impurities. Allow clean water to wash over the files while using a suitable brush to clean it. Perform the cleaning steps with extreme care to prevent damages to the files until they are completely rid of all impurities. After the cleaning is complete, leave the files and documents for a while to allow the water to evaporate. In the meantime, set up a proper and suitable working area to dry the files and documents depending on the methods that will be used, such as air drying, heat drying, or blow drying. Air drying method. The officer in charge separates each piece of file and document that has been cleaned. The process of separating each file and document must be done by using a tool like spatula and transparent binding plastic cover. This process has to be conducted slowly with extreme care to prevent physical damages to the files and documents. Prepared a plastic drying ropes or lines at the designated drying space to hang each document that has been separated. Layered each document with a piece of newspaper and hanged on the drying line with a paper clip or cloth peg. To ensure the efficiency of the air drying process, at least 2 staff members are required to simultaneously separate and hang the documents on the drying line. Continue the separating and hanging process for all the documents until done. The estimate amount of time required for all the hanged documents to dry is at least 3 hours or more. The documents should be left to dry at room temperature with adequate ventilation until all of the documents are completely dry. Next, collect all the documents that has been dried according to its original arrangement or sequence. This process must be done correctly and carefully. The collected documents must be arranged properly in the right order and sequence as in their original files. Heat drying method. The heat drying process uses appliances such as hair dryer and iron. The hair dryer is suitable for drying thick and bound materials like books, magazines, reports, and working papers. A proper clean area must be set up to place all materials and conduct the heat drying process. The hair dryer is pointed on the side of the wet material at a fixed distance of 4 inches until the material dries. One hand is used to prevent the material from moving or being blown away while the drying process is carried out. The process is repeated continuously until the material is completely dry. The iron is suitable to dry material in single pages. A flat and clean area has to be chosen before the heat drying process is done. The heat drying process should be done on a flat and clean surface. Layer the surface of the area with blotting papers. Next, place the wet documents onto the blotting papers before covering them with another layer of blotting papers. The iron is heated to a suitable temperature and moved across the surface of the blotting papers. The process is repeated continuously until the material is completely dry. The dried documents are removed and replaced with the next batch of wet documents. The process is repeated until all documents within a specific file are completely dry. Blow drying method. The officer has to prepare a flat and open area to conduct the blow drying process. The blow drying process should be conducted in a flat and open space. The area has to be layered with blotting papers or old newspapers. Arrange the wet files, books or magazines with book stands on top of the blotting papers or old newspapers that were layered. Place a separator in between the wet documents to prevent them from sticking together. point a fan toward the documents at a distance of at least 2 feet and let the process continue until all the documents are completely dry. File storage. Gathered all files and documents that have been dried on a flat and clean area. Separate the dried documents from the blotting papers and old newspapers. The documents are smoothed and cleaned with a small piece of clean white cloth. The documents are arranged back in their original sequence in their files accordingly and tied securely with white strings. The files and documents that have been completely dried are placed inside acid-free boxes and kept in the records room.